and welcome to my world. A few years ago I started doing videos once a year of games that I most wanted to buy, and I was supposed to do it as a yearly thing. I'd do it one year, then the next year I'd come back, do a video, see what games I picked up from the list and what new ones would be added onto it, and carry it on to the next year. I did that for 2 years, and I think it's been about 2 years since the last video. Oops. So, gonna do finally a new revision for 2022. So, let's firstly go over what the original list was from the previous video. And I happen to have it on some paper right here. So, we have, and these are technically a top 10, but some of them have multiples. Yeah, whatever, it's my video, I'll do what I bloody want. So we have WCW Super Brawl and WCW Main Event. Those are Super Nintendo and Game Boy games. The thing with these is they never came out here in Europe, so I have to get them from America. Yeah, prices of them are slowly going up, and then you have postage and import charges, and it's a hassle, and I'm just hoping to land on them from a UK seller at some point in time. Excitebots, Trick Racing for the Nintendo Wii. Again, didn't get this here in PAL regions, which sucks. Excite Trucks on the Wii, I absolutely love. It's one of my favourite Wii games. The sequel, some people like it more, some people like it less. I would just like to play it. So, yeah, again, it's one of those. I'll have to try and import it as cheap as I can, or find it from a UK seller if someone else happens to have it. Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. This will be to finish up my Mario Kart collection of games. All of them except for, of course, the arcade games, because I can't afford arcade games, nor do I have anywhere to put them. Power Rangers on the Super Nintendo. This isn't the one based on the movie, it's just a regular one, and it's a beat-em-up game. It's one I played as a kid, I loved it back then, and I just like to have it back in my collection now. Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 on the Game Boy / Game Boy Color. It's kind of like a Pokemon-y style game where you get monsters and level them up, but instead of them evolving, you breed them with each other and they turn into a new a new monster. And it's Dragon Quest, it's got all those cool designs and things. Really, really fun game. Would like to add it to the collection. Super Princess Peach for the DS. And this is a 2D platformer starring Princess Peach, and I've just always wanted it, so yeah. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes for the NES. This is a very pricey game here. It's based on many things, I think, but I know it because I grew up with the TV show, the cartoon Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which was fun as a kid, so I've always wanted the video game for it. Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards for the N64. Many people cite this as being one of the best Kirby games. I own the other two now, Planet Robobot and Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. Yeah, those are fantastic. I would like the 64 version. Then we have Twisted Metal 1, 3 and 4 for the PlayStation 1. Twisted Metal, I love Twisted Metal 2, Twisted Metal Small Brawl, Twisted Metal Head On, Twisted Metal the reboot for the PS3. But I would like to get the rest of them. I have Twisted Metal Black on PS2, not the biggest fan of it. And I would like the others just to round out my collection. Unfortunately, 3 and 4 never came out here in Europe, so I got to import those, and Twisted Metal 1 is expensive these days. And then we have finally Paper Mario The 1000 Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. Everyone again cites this as the best Paper Mario game, a really great RPG, and one of the classic titles for the GameCube. And because of that, it's bloody expensive. And Nintendo have never re-released it anywhere, so yeah. Hopefully one day I will indeed get that. So, that was the previous list. Did I get anything from that list? Yes I did. I got 5 things from it. So, let's go through them. Firstly, Super Princess Peach for the DS. And yeah, you will have seen almost all of these on pickups videos over the years, but again, for this video. I think I actually got this for one of the early DIY gaming boxes, but yeah, Super Princess Peach, 2D platformer starring Princess Peach, with the main mechanic being that Peach uses her emotions to defeat enemies and solve puzzles. So she gets angry and she can, set fire to things and kill enemies that way. She can get sad and cry and, water plants to get them to grow to create platforms. It's an interesting game, interesting mechanics, but yeah, I can see the whole sexist thing there with that it's a female character, and of course she just has emotions. Yeah, you get past that, and it is a fun game. So yeah, I would like a sequel, more fleshed out, less on emotions and more just on Princess Peach being a badass who's going to rescue Mario for a change. Speaking of Mario, I of course got Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS to round off my Mario Kart collection. I've always heard mixed things about this one. A lot of people didn't like it, it seems, but I had a blast playing through this, so Christ knows what they were thinking. But yeah, I thought it was very fun. A lot of good tracks in there. It's nice to see a bunch of them on the Mario Kart 8 now as well. Already built into the game, plus DLC, and we got some more DLC coming, so we'll probably see more of them. Then we have Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Kobe's Journey. There is a second one that goes with this, kind of like the Pokemon did, called Tada's Adventure, I believe. Yeah, and this game is fantastic. The improvement that it made from the first game to the second one is insane. Now, you can look back at the original Pokemon games, the original gen, red, blue, yellow even, and then to gold and silver, and there was a lot of big improvements made, no doubt. But if you want to compare the first Dragon Quest Monsters to the second one, it's probably more of comparing the original Pokemon gen to Generation 5, Black and White 2 as well. And just such a huge leap. Yeah, it's not 3D or anything like that, but it's just massive leap in every single way. It's a monstrously sized game compared to the original, and great fun. Then we have one of the more expensive games, but I got it for nice and cheap. Well, cheaper than what it should have cost me, because instead of getting the PAL version, I got the NTSCU version from America, or from a British seller, so cheap. And that is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, and it is a fun 2D platformer from, who is it that does it? Yeah, THQ back in the day, back when they were Toy Headquarters, mainly known as. Yeah, so Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I was very glad to get that, and of course got it in a nice protective case, because it is the most expensive, one of the most expensive NES games I own. The others I do have proper boxes for, but yeah. And lastly, what would be the most expensive game on this, out of these five? So if I was to buy this from the PAL region, I would be looking at about £110 on average. Buy the Japanese cartridge of this, because the English language doesn't really matter for the game. I paid £10, and believe it or not, I probably could have got it a few quid cheaper if I'd have shopped around. Yeah, and that is Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. It's amazing. Ever since I got that American N64 that makes me play American and Japanese games, it has opened up a hell of a lot for me for collecting the N64, for getting cheaper versions of games like this. You just don't need English. Technically I did when I first plugged it in, because I got an error message. I think I showed it on my Twitter. I used the one of those phone apps that just look through the camera and it'll translate, and it just came up with a really silly translation, something about noodles. It turns out the controller I was using was damaged. It was an original N64 controller. I just plugged it in because that was the first one I picked up. Normally I would use a Retro Fighters one, but yeah. So Kirby 64. So that was half of that list. Take it away. So, what is the revised list of most wanted games that I want for 2022, going into 2023 for the next video? So, obviously we have the previous five: WCW Super Brawl / main events for the SNES and Game Boy, Excitebot Trick Racing for the Nintendo Wii, Power Rangers on the Super Nintendo, Twisted Metal 1, 3 and 4 for the PlayStation 1, and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. So, the next 5 games I am adding to this list for this year: Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 for the Nintendo 64. This was a Japanese exclusive game, of course. I own the first one. The sequel is often cited as being one of, if not the very best wrestling games ever made. The creation studio that comes with it, just the grapple system and things like we got similar to the No Mercy and WCW Anywhere Revenge. You know, I think those games were built upon this engine, the Ukes engine, is it, or something? But yeah, a lot of people think this one is the best. And unfortunately, because of that, despite it being a Japanese game, usually those are quite cheap. Nope, expensive. And of course, I have to import it. But I want it, A, for my wrestling collection, and B, because it's supposed to be really good. And then we have Dragon Ball Origins 2 on the Nintendo DS. I own the first Dragon Ball Origins, the second one now is getting really expensive. And it was one of those interesting games that made a lot of use of the touchscreen, where you basically moved Goku around with the touchscreen and you would use attacks with it and everything. But it really worked, it was really well done, and there were two games that basically did most of Dragon Ball. No Z or anything like that, just Dragon Ball. Really, really good, really fun games. I played them back in the day using an R4, unfortunately. But yeah, I own the first one, want to get the sequel. Then we have Ape Escape on the PlayStation 1. A game that I'm baffled that I have never owned this in any way, not even on a copy back during the days of the PlayStation 1 when everyone had a chipped console and bought copied games by the dozen. Because me and my friend at the time, we were hyped for this. We was always seeing it in PlayStation magazines, looked fantastic. Then you found out you had to get an analog controller. It was designed for that game. Didn't get one straight away, so a bit later, finally got an analog controller, just never got Ape Escape. I have eventually played a demo of it from one of my many PS1 demo discs and had a blast with it, and I want the full game. And a couple of days before recording this video, I went into Sex, and there it was on the shelf. I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. Took it to the counter, no manual, take it back. Not interested, so need to pick that one up at some point. Then we have Dynamite Cop for the Dreamcast. And this is a sequel to the Die Hard arcade game, I believe, that was also on the Saturn. And they got a sequel, removed the license, and it's kind of like a fun beat 'em up with weapons and things. I played a demo of it. I think I mentioned it previously in one of my gaming pickups videos. I got some Dreamcast demos. That was on. It was a blast. I even tried to order the game, ordered it, but the seller got back to me, refunded me, because he found out that it was a reproduction. What do you call it? Inlay and front cover and back cover and things like that, so he couldn't sell it at the price he was because it wasn't original. Very disappointed in that, but I would love to get it one day. And lastly, for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Dragon Warrior 4. I would very much like to pick that up. Of course, never came out here in Europe, so I have to import it from America. It's an expensive game to begin with, and it got postage and import charges, and why is it so expensive? But I would like it for my Dragon Quest collection, of course. So those are my current top 10, plus a few extra, but yeah, semantics. Top 10 most wanted games that I am going to try and look out for in 2022. And hopefully in 2023 I will come back with another revised list, showing off hopefully some games that I will have got off this list, hopefully, as well as adding some new ones to it. So, I'm bigcal, thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you think to my list, and let me know what games you're on the lookout for, and I'll see you again next time.